We were there because we were rallying. There was an issue, everything was organized, the who will represent which, the speeches. The only thing that was not organized is that the Molotov cocktails started blowing and killing and hurting the students.
Si Tits Tañada, anak din ni Tani, ni Senator Tañada, comes rushing in. Assassination attempt daw kay Enrile. Pero the weird part pa doon, sabi sa akin, is ito yung security guard na sa likod, nasa harapan yung kotse ni Enrile. Yung tinira yung kotse sa harapan. But he was seated sa likod. So, setup na setup. Maybe something might be coming down tonight, sabi niyo.
I have proclaimed martial law in accordance with the powers vested in the President by the Constitution of the Philippines.
Magandang umaga. Malapit na naman ang araw ng kasarinlan. Marahil marami sa atin ang nag-uugnay sa panahong ito sa pagwawagayway ng bandila sa Cavite. Pero hanggang doon na lang ba tayo sa paggunita at pagwagayway ng bandila? Bukod pa doon, anong maaari nating gawin sa kasalukuyang panahon upang ipagtanggol ang ating kasarinlan? Pagtatanggol sa kasarinlan ng ating gugunitain. Sa pagtatanggol ng kasarinlan, kailangan nating silipin ang mga pangyayaring nagbantang kumitil nito. Ngayong araw, sisilipin natin ang batas militar.
President of the Philippines.
Mas kilala ang batas militar o Proclamation 1081 sa pangalang martial law. Sa mga panahong ideklara ito ni Pangulong Marcos noong September 21, 1972, karamihan sa atin ay hindi pa ipinapanganak. Marami ng ating alam tungkol dito ay nabasa lamang o kaya ay napanood sa pelikula. Karamihan ng tungkol dito ay sinasabi kung gaano kalupit ang administrasyong Marcos noon. Inilunsad ni Pangulong Marcos ito upang magkaroon daw ng kaayusan. Noong panahon bago ang martial law, nagkakagulo na ang bansa dahilan sa pagpasok ng sari-saring kaisipang pampulitikal. 2 taon bago magkaroon ng martial law, sunod-sunod ang pagpoprotesta sa daan na pinamunuan ng mga mag-aaral. Pagpoprotesta ito sa patuloy na pagtaas sa presyo ng langis, mga abuso sa pamahalaan at kadadaos lamang na eleksyon ng 1969. Pinoprotesta ang eleksyong ito dahil malakas ang singaw na dinaya ito ni Presidente Marcos.
Nagkaroon ng mabigat na halalan for re-election si Marcos. The elections for his re-election were so corrupt, so fraudulent, and so rotten that there was a demand on the part of the young people to revise the Constitution.
Ano namang problema dyan? Dahilan sa 1935 pa yung original Constitution, problema lang ay merong kaming mga doubts as to why they want the charter change urgently. We feel that if this is not checked by, if their ambitions are not checked by law, it can go berserk. So as members of the National Union of Students of the Philippines at that time, we had a mammoth rally in front of Congress. And one of the appeals we have is that for President Marcos at that time to proclaim to the Filipino people that he is backing the charter change, not for personal ends, because if we have that charter change, he can be president for life.
That is quite clear. In spite of any result of any constitutional convention, I have no intention of running for a third term. Don't you think that 2 terms is enough for any man?
Dito sa lugar na ito naganap ang isa sa pinakamakasaysayang pangyayari bago ang martial law, ang Plaza Miranda bombing. Sa isang political rally na idinaos noong August 21, 1971 ng Liberal Party, isang pagsabog ang yumanig sa mga nagsidalo.
Ibinintang ni Pangulong Marcos ang nangyari sa mga komunista at aktivistang di umano'y nanggugulo sa lipunan. Isa sa mga pinakamalalang nasugatan ay si dating Senador Jovito Salonga.
On August 21, 1971, I was bombed in Plaza Miranda. These are the marks of the Plaza Miranda bombing. I lost my hearing in one ear. I lost one of my eyes. And I have more than 100 little tiny pieces of shrapnel in my body up to now.
I assure you that I am utilizing this power for the proclamation of martial law vested in me by the Constitution for one purpose alone, and that is to save the Republic and reform our society.
At tuluyan na ngang idineklara ang martial law. Nagsimula ang martial law upang magkaroon daw ng kaayusan. Nadisiplina ang mga tao, nawala ang mga protesta sa kalsada, luminis ang paligid. Ngunit unti-unting naramdaman ng Pilipino na pansamantala lamang pala ang solusyon ng Malacanang.
It was really strict. I mean, alam mong something happened. Because the cops, ang lakas ng military presence. And everybody kind of followed. If you even threw candy wrappers sa street, dadamputin ka, tapos magtatabas ka ng talahib.
All freedoms, especially press freedom and television, the media, everything was shut down.
Alam mo sa martial law, ibig sabihin curtailment of freedom of speech. You just can't say what you want to say because you will be a suspect. Dadaputin ka dyan with no search warrant, even with just a suspicion. And that is terrifying.
We were told that San Jose Seminary was being raided. And that in that San Jose raid, one of the men of Father Archie Intengan was caught, who eventually was tortured and was killed.
Mula sa amin sa Pansol, naglalakad ako papuntang De La Estrada. Biglang, pagbaba ko nung, basta yung sa kalye, may nakita na akong kotse, tapos may mga tao sa loob. Tapos merong naglalakad na tao, umakbay sa akin na mama. Nung sinasakay na nila ako sa kotse, nagsisigaw ako ng saklolo, saklolo, saklolo. Sabi ko, saan niyo ako dadalhin? Yan. Basta sumama ko sa amin kamaingay.
Hindi naman po kayo sinaktan doon?
Parang psychological torture. Yung parang, pag hindi ka nagsalita, puputulin namin daliri mo.
But somehow, the people in Pansol realized that they were the army. And the news was brought to the house. And the news was brought to the provincial. The provincial went to Cardinal Sin. And Cardinal Sin said, this is the porter of Loyola House of Studies. We know that the military took her. If anything happens to her, then we will hold the army responsible.
Ano nga ba ang naging tugon ng mga tao sa kaguluhang nangyayari? Kasama sa pakikibaka laban sa pang-aabuso ng martial law, si Don Chino Roses. Siyempre, mas popular si Senador Ninoy Aquino, Atinista. Kasama din ang isa pang senador, si Jose Jokno. Hinuli sila at dinala sa Laur, Nueva Ecija. Bakit sila hinuli? Dahil sa simpleng dahilan na nagsasalita at kumikilos sila laban sa pamahalaang Marcos.
Ninoy Aquino was caught. All these people, Jokno was also caught. People who were very vocal in Congress and spoke their minds out. And people we admire for their guts and their genius, were just picked up.
3 weeks later, here comes the military again, this time with a van. Ma'am, we're ready to bring it to your husband. How long will it take? So they eventually, what they said was 15 minutes became a 4 or 5 hour drive sa Laur, sa Fort Magsaysay. Magkadikit sila ni Ninoy in a small cell na nakahati na yung divider lang in between. They did everything inside that room. They would sing in the morning, play imaginary golf. Pero tinanggal lahat, no? Even pencil, paper.
The worst thing that I experienced was seeing him in Fort Magsaysay, because he was standing behind a wire screen, and 2 feet away was another wire screen, and my children and I were standing behind that wire screen. And for the very first time in my life, I saw Ninoy suddenly lose hope. He was sobbing. I'd never seen Ninoy sobbing, and it seemed that he had given up.
Isa sa pinakakilalang Atenistang nakipaglaban sa diktadoryang Marcos noong martial law ay si Edgar Hopson.
Edgar Hopson was invited by the president to Malacanang to confer. It was at that juncture that Edgar Hopson asked the president,
Mr. President, the students would just like your assurance that you are for the constitutional change, not to perpetuate your power, but truly for changes unique that will be good for the country. Well, we would just like your assurance for that, Mr. President. Can you sign this sheet of paper so that we will have an evidence that truly you have said this, not only in words, but in paper?
Nagalit si Marcos sa kanya. How dare you ask me to sign something? You are just the son of a grocer.
That changed the life of that man called Edgar Hopson. In his person, you have a response, an Atenean who responded to beliefs that he carried, lived it, and had to die for it.
Si Ninoy Aquino, bayani ng Ateneo Heroes Memorial, government leader, freedom fighter.
Before Ninoy, like most politicians, I guess he was hoping to be president. And he was aiming for the highest position of the land. He was thinking really of what he could be. But because of his incarceration, it was no longer of what he could be, but what he could do for the country.
I realized that all the pomp, the glory of the Senate were ephemeral. That wealth, that clothing, keeping up with the Joneses was not of this world, really. And having discovered that, I have lost my appetite for power.
Before he left Boston, he was telling me that there were different scenarios. Suddenly, Cory, maybe when I arrive in Manila, I'll probably be arrested again and sent back to Fort Bonifacio. Or because I've undergone a triple bypass, they might confine me in the heart center. Then they might be kind enough and give me house arrest. And I said, well, that would really be good. But if Marcos makes a mistake and has me killed, that will be the best thing that will happen to me, because I've always wanted to die for our country.
When I started as a folk singer, dun sa mga tinutugtugan ko, kumakanta na ako ng mga protest music. When I got involved with the mass movement, that was the time when I really got involved also in the protest, in protesting against the government and fighting against the dictator. Ang Bayan Ko was that was written, I think, during World War II. It was written by, if I'm not mistaken, Jose Corazon de Jesus. Very appropriate din yung song na yun nung panahon ng Marcos, kasi katulad din tayo ng isang ibon na nakakulong sa isang hawla.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas, lupa ng ginto bulaklak, pag-ibig ang sa kanyang mata, nag-aalay ang ganda nila, at sa kanyang yubing at ganda, ay buhay na halina, bayan ko. Bibihag ka na mas sa dusa. Di mo mamalayang lumipad, kulungin mo at pumipiglas. Bayan pa kayang sakdal nila, ang di magnasang makalpas. Pilipinas kong minumutya, ugat ng luha ko't nalita. At ingati ka, makita kang sagdalaya. Kay sarap mabuhay sa sariling bayan, kung walang alipin at may kalayaan. Ang bayan sinisingil, babangon, lalaban din. Ang silang ay pupulan sa bigas ng paglaya. Di mo man may layang lumipad, kulungin mo ay umiiyak. Bayan pa kayang sakdal nila, ang di magnasang makalpas. Pilipinas kong minumutya, ugat ng luha ko't dalita. Aking nalika, makita kang sagdalaya.
I have been away for 3 years in exile, and the time has come, I think, for me to return so that I can help reorganize the opposition in my country. I have promised to return. I have returned against all odds.
You have to be very ready with your hand camera because this action can become very fast. In a matter of 3-4 minutes, it could be all over, you know. And I may not be able to talk to you again after this.
Binaril si Aquino!
When he was in prison, I would tell him, what makes you think that people still know you or people even care? But he never gave up. He was just so sure, and he would quote from Gandhi that all it needs is one courageous person, and that courageous person will infect others with his courage.
But more important than power, more important than the making of a living, is the living of a good life. It's good to have money and all the things that money can buy. But it is better to pause once in a while to find out whether we still have the things money can never buy. Such things as honor, self-respect, the respect of our colleagues, truth, justice, freedom, democracy.
Handa ka ba? Handa ka bang mamatay para sa bayan? mahal mo nga ba ang bayan, na handa ka. Kasi ganun talaga, yung lalabas ka ng umaga, hindi mo talaga alam kung babalik ka.
The freedoms that they are enjoying now were not just handed to them, did not just come on a silver platter. We really had to go through troubles and struggles.
Eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. So everybody must just be always vigilant in safeguarding freedoms. So